Ah, there you all are. I was starting to think you couldn't find your way here. Come. Have a seat. Isn't this a nice night? Sitting by the fireplace, drinking a hot drink, enjoying those winter nights. But something did happen way before. Let me tell you the story. All aboard! Thomas and I were traveling down the branch line, enjoying the scenery and watching the colors of the wind fly by. There was a small river stream just after Elsbridge, where Thomas passes by each day, watching the children play in the water and seeing families fishing on the sides. Every day, Thomas would tell one of his friends, "I want to fish."
Don't be daft, Thomas. Engines can't go fishing. Even if we tried, how could we?
I mean, we could throw our lines from your cabs.
Okay, smartass.
But I think it would be fun! One day, Thomas was waiting at Elsbridge, but he was running low on water. He wanted to fill up his water tanks, but the water column was out of order. Oh, fudge nuggets! I'm thirsty! Well, maybe we can get some water from the river.
Are you sure that's a good idea, Blue?
What about our train? We shan't be late.
Believe it or not, girls, we're extremely early. The next train isn't for another hour, so it'll be okay. So we took our train and stopped on the bridge and filled up on water. Unfortunately, the bucket I had was filled with 5 holes, so I had to hurry and fill up his water tanks. About maybe 6 or 7 buckets, I filled up his tanks. That's good! Let's keep going! We mustn't keep our passengers waiting! Just as we were about to pass the tunnel near the farmer's field, Thomas began to feel a pain in his boiler as he hissed steam fit to burst. Ow! Oh, that hurts! Sonic, what's happening to me? Ah! Son of a piston, there's too much steam! Ow! I feel like I'm gonna burst! Ow! So I lowered his fire and slowly took him to Farquhar. Afterwards, we put Annie and Clarabelle off to a side and put Thomas in a siding. I told Mario, who unfortunately was my guard, to call Sir Topham Hatt and an inspector come and check on Thomas. Percy came to take the train as Sir Topham Hatt and Blaze the Cat came to check on Thomas. I explained everything that happened and Blaze listened carefully.
Cheer up, chummish. We'll have your better soon enough. Blaze, any ideas what could be wrong?
Seems like that feed pipe is blocked.
let me have a peek and I'll see what we can do.
As Blaze climbed up on Thomas, she looked in his boiler and nearly fell off his tanks.
Blaze, is everything alright?
Sir, can you look inside and tell me what you see?
Is it that bad?
Well, no, but it's complicated to say.
So Sir Topham Hatt climbed the ladder and looked inside. When he did, he nearly fell off the ladder.
Blaze, can you see fish?
What? How did that happen? Oh my Gaia. Thomas, the river! I must have accidentally fished them in my bucket. Oh man, now I feel embarrassed.
Cheer up, Sonic, it wasn't your fault, considering unfortunate misplacement. And Thomas, it would seem you have gone fishing, but it's clear that fish don't suit you. Mr. Mario, will you go and get some fishing rods? There might be some in the lost and found.
Okie dokie! Yahoo! Sir?
There has to be a way to get the fish out somehow. This is the only way. Care to fish?
I can't. But I know someone who can. So Mario, Blaze, Sir Topham Hatt, and Big the Cat took turns on fishing from Thomas's tanks. Once they were finished getting the fish out, they had a lovely picnic of fish and chips. Which, if you live in the US, means fish with a side of fries.
Well, that was delicious. But let's not make this a habit, Thomas. Understand?
Yes, sir. Engines don't go fishing. It's too uncomfortable. A week later, Thomas was asked to take a train of stone down to Elsbridge for a train to the mainland. Sonic, can I ask you a question? Yeah, go ahead. How are all the people like you coming here?
You know, I'm wondering the same thing.
How do you guys do it?
Well, ever since some of us got here to Sodor, we've been making a special portal for most that want to travel down here. Down the line was a crossing where a police officer was sitting, and Thomas decided to give a whistle. Hello!
Yo, hold up!
Huh? Don't worry, Thomas. Let me handle it. Hey, Hannah.
Oh, hey, Sonic. What are you doing here?
I work here. Is there a problem?
Where are your cow catchers?
But I don't catch cows, ma'am.
You're not funny. Engines who are going over road crossings must be acquired with cow catchers and side plates, so no pedestrians or animals are injured.
What? Since when?
Since the law was passed in 1950. Have you been passing on said road since then?
Well, yes, but I didn't know about the law, honest.
Ignorance is no excuse, Thomas. The law is the law.
I swear to you, I think Thomas was starting to have a panic attack because he started hissing steam and breathing heavily. I assured Thomas everything would be okay and took Hannah to Elsbridge to get this figured out. Back at Knapford, Edward and Monica were actually late with a passenger train as well. As they saw James with a smirk on his face.
Alright, James, you clearly want to say something, so say it.
Come now, Edward. I'm not Thomas. I wouldn't dare mock a fellow engine.
Yeah, bullshit!
Better from you than me.
Look, I'm just saying, it's rare to see even the best of us slip up when it comes to timetables.
Well, Edward has a reason. What was yours again? Oh, that's right, you overslept and blamed me.
Oi! I had a busy night.
If you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen.
And who the hell said that?
I did. And I promise you, Rusty Red, one word and your mouth will meet my hammer.
Alright, everyone, that's enough now. Edward, was there a reason why you were delayed?
Signal was under repair and a lorry had broken down on the level crossing.
Say no more, no harm found.
Sir,
Silver, please, take a breath. What's happened?
it's Thomas. He's under arrest. What?
What's on earth for?
Silver explained what I had told him, and even Edward was surprised about it too.
I've never heard of that law.
This is indeed serious. I must tend to the matter. Edward, can you take me and Miss 18 to Elsbridge?
Hop in. There's no time like the present.
Edward hurried on his way as fast as his wheels could let him. While I was trying to keep Thomas calm, Thomas, listen to me. It's going to be okay. You're not being sent away or being arrested. Thomas had closed his eyes, letting off so much steam. Just as Edward came into view, he was especially surprised to see Thomas in a terrible state. Thomas! Look at me, Thomas. It's okay. I'm right here. Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
Sonic, is Thomas okay?
He freaked out when he saw my friend Hannah.
I do apologize about your engine, but I must discuss something with Sir Topham Hat.
So, Hannah, or Diva for you Overwatch weebs out there, explained to Sir Topham Hat about the line headed to the quarry, that it was dangerous to engines like Thomas.
I know it's a lot, especially for number one, but the law is the law, and I can't change it.
I see. Well, thank you, Miss Song. I'm sorry, Sonic. It's no use arguing with the police. We'll have to get those cow catchers and side plates for Thomas.
Everyone will laugh, sir. They'll say I look like a tram.
That's it. Well done, Thomas.
What's it?
We need a tram engine. While I was on my holiday, I visited a railway where I met a lovely tram engine named Toby. He and his coach and Henrietta are in need of a job. He has cow catchers and side plates. I'll write to his crew immediately.
Well, looks like I'll need to backtrack once more. So, who's Toby? That's Toby. He's an LNER J70 steam tram engine. He has his own branch line, just like Thomas. But by the year of 1933, Toby's branch line would be taken over by the buses and lorries. He had his coach, Henrietta, but both were slowly losing their jobs. By 1955, just before James had his accident, there were actually 2 workers who worked with Toby. Remember the couple who laughed at Gordon for being back to front? Well, funny story, they were actually Toby's crew.
Morning, Toby.
Good morning, Charlie. Baggy, how are things going?
Oh good, mijo. Manager says we close in 4 days.
Well, that's unfortunate. What then?
Manager says he'll host a goodbye celebration for you, then we gotta go by the end of next week.
Any jobs for today?
Mostly a small run to the quarry. That's all we ever get at this point.
Cheer up, Vaggie. I'm sure we'll get something new.
Toby and Henrietta traveled down the line with their 4 trucks of gravel, trailing behind them. Though a small train, Toby was glad to even have any train. Henrietta, on the other hand, wasn't so keen on being empty.
Toby, this is ridiculous. We've been traveling down this line, no passengers and barely any jobs to do.
I know, Henrietta. But like Miss Morningstar said, something will turn up. We just need to have patience.
Far from the branch line, Sir Topham Hat was taking a holiday to visit the railway with Vanilla, her daughter Cream, and her best friend Charmy. He wanted to come because Cream asked him to come, and Vector, Vanilla's fiancé, insisted he'd go.
Are we almost there, Mr. Topham?
Yes, we are, Charmy. Just another mile.
Mama, where are we going? We're going to see an engine on this railway. What railway is this, Bertram?
It's a tramway here in East Anglia. The railway was created in 1920 and served as a passenger and freight line, delivering stone from its quarry.
That's amazing, Mr. Topham. Will we see an engine there?
We might, Charmy.
Once they parked the car, they walked to the station. There was Toby coming by.
Peggy, look!
De ninguna manera. Are those?
Yes, it is. Henrietta, look.
I don't believe it.
Hi there, everyone, and welcome to the Happy Tramway. I'm Charlie Morristar, and this is my girlfriend, Vaggie Martha.
Hello there.
My name is Tobias, but I prefer Toby. This is my coach, Henrietta.
Toby, you wouldn't happen to be a J70, would you?
I am indeed, sir.
Mr. Topham, what's a J70?
A J70 is a tram engine, like Toby.
But aren't trams electric?
Not this one, sweetie. Toby's a steam tram. Speaking of, you guys are actually our first passengers. Would you like to hop on board?
That sounds splendid. Come now, children. Hop into the coach gently.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
So, Toby took them around the railway, giving them the sights of the tramway. The children were enjoying themselves, and Vaggie, who usually sits in Henrietta, gave them the story of Toby and the tramway. Once they made it back to the station, Cream and Charmy thanked Toby, and Vanilla took them back to the car.
Thank you very much, you four, for a splendid ride. Although I notice that not many passengers are here.
I'm afraid so. This is our last week here, sir.
To put it in a black and white, they prefer buses, lorries to do a job a tram could do.
I see. I do indeed apologize for this happening to you, but I can help you out.
How?
I happen to own a railway, and I have plans to open up a branch line soon, and I may need some assistance soon.
You really mean it, sir?
Exactly. If the day ever comes, I'll write to you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Dios mío, señor, muchas gracias.
Now, here we are in 1960. Sir Topham Hatt wrote to Charlie and Vaggie and raced away to their new sanctuary, the island of Sodor. Toby had arrived at Lower Tidmouth Station, where Sir Topham Hatt, Thomas, and I were waiting for them.
Ah, right on time. And I see you bought your coach, Henrietta.
You don't mind that, do you, sir? They wanted to turn her into a hen house, and that will never do.
No, indeed. And Toby, this is Thomas. You both will run the Farquhar branch. Toby will run in front, and you and Thomas will collect the train of stone down to Nafford goods yard.
So Thomas and Toby collected their train and passed the crossing where Hannah waved hello. Thomas suddenly got nervous as they passed, but all Hannah did was nod in approval, which calmed Thomas down. A month went by and autumn was fast approaching. Thomas was back on his branch line with Annie and Clarabelle. I love autumn! It feels lovely having the wind being blown through my funnel.
Well, Thomas, summer wasn't so bad.
Yes, indeed, Annie. It kept us very busy and wasn't so cold.
Thomas had to wait by a signal near the farmer's field, where a new tractor was there.
Hello there, I'm Terence. I'm plowing this field.
I'm Thomas. I'm pulling a train.
So you are?
What's wrong with your wheels?
Eh?
Your wheels! Why do they look like that? They're ugly!
Ugly?
Thomas!
What? Am I wrong? Look at them!
They're my caterpillar tracks, for your information, and they help me go anywhere, unlike your rails.
You want to say that again, farm boy?
Don't you ever want to go anywhere without your rails?
Smartass, in case you forgot, our rails allow us to go faster and don't cause friction. And even if I did, I wouldn't want to go anywhere. I like my rails, thank you.
Whatever you say. Bye, Thomas.
That night, Thomas was still grumbling about Terence. How dare that country-talking tractor talk to me like that? Like I don't run that line. Oh my Gaia, Thomas, come on. It's been like 6 hours now. Just be like my cousin and let it go. No, that guy was rude to me. You were rude to him. You called him ugly. That wasn't okay. Well, he insulted the railway. Thomas, I was literally in your cab the entire time, and all he asked was if you thought about going anywhere your rails couldn't. And what if I didn't want to? I was defending my railway. Yeah, I'm sure you were. Listen, go to sleep. No more thinking about the tractor. We have a busy day tomorrow, okay? Good night. Good night. That night, it started to snow, and snow is very difficult sometimes. It piles up on the line, delays trains, and causes the rails to be slippery. Thomas, on the other hand, loved the snow. It looked beautiful on his line. Wow! Snow looks amazing! Doesn't it, girls?
It's freezing.
Yes, indeed. I think I preferred the spring already.
We got to Elsbridge just as Henry was leaving. As the passengers were getting on and off, I had to put on Thomas's snowplow. What the hell is this? It's a snowplow, Thomas. We'll need it for the rest of the line. What? Why? It'll help push the snow away and keep us going to Farquhar, but we'll have to go slowly. Henry didn't have to wear one. I'm not Henry's driver, Thomas. Zelda is. And even she knows that the main line isn't as bad as your branch line. Now let's go. I swear, Thomas was probably worse than a 6-year-old. Because with his snowplow, he shook it and banged it so hard he managed to damage it. Luckily, he was already back at Tidmouth, where, yes, I did rip into Thomas. Did I enjoy it? No, it killed me doing it. Tails also called me and said that they couldn't fix it in time, which made it even more worse. The next day, Thomas was on his branch line, and I think I might need a new pair of gloves because I was chewing my nails so bad I nearly ripped into the gloves and my skin. I don't have to wear it! I don't have to wear it!
I hope you'll be okay.
Likewise, dear.
We passed Maithwave, and that's when everything happened at once. I didn't need that stupid old thing, and I don't today. If I wanted to push snow, I would do it without my snowplow. You know, there are times when I say karma is a dirty diesel, but this caught me off guard. As Thomas exited the tunnel, there was something unimaginable. Oh shit! Thomas was stuck in the snow. He tried to puff backwards, but every time his wheels turned, the snow piled up more. Cinders and ashes! I'm stuck! So Thomas, what was that you said about pushing the snow away? Come on, Sonic! This isn't funny! Alright, Thomas. I'll go get some help. I'll keep your fire on so you don't freeze. The moment I left, Annie and Clarabelle said they heard Thomas freaking out. He was breathing heavily and had shut his eyes tightly. And the reason was because during his years serving World War II, Thomas was actually buried alive in December of 1940, and it took the British Army 3 days after. So James wasn't the only one with PTSD. About 10 minutes later, a bus came to collect Thomas's passengers. And who showed up to help Thomas but Terence? After all, snow never bothered him.
Well, I'll be tumbleweed in the hot spring of July. Thomas, are you okay?
We're fine. But can you get us out?
And please hurry, Thomas is shaking badly.
Sure thing, laddies. I'll pull out like a bull straight out of Texas.
Terence pulled Annie and Clarabelle out first, then hurried to turn around to Thomas. I dug out as much as I could of Thomas's wheels, but he was so scared he spun his wheels as fast as he could, causing more snow to pile up. Terence connected himself to Thomas and tugged and pulled as hard as he could. With a few pulls after, Thomas was free. And he pulled out as fast as he could, breathing heavily.
Whoa, easy, partner. You're okay now.
He was like this the whole time.
It was rather terrifying to hear.
I wouldn't say I wasn't surprised, but I was worried myself. Once I cleaned off Thomas at Tidmouth, I had a one-on-one session with Thomas, and I knew about his past. To make sure he was okay, I slept in his cab. Later on, during the winter events, Thomas and Toby worked hard on the branch line all throughout Christmas. Annie, Clarabelle, and Henrietta were all crammed, filled with passengers, and they were feeling worn out. Near the tunnel, where Thomas had his mess with the snow, was a small cottage. A nice figure named Kitty Kindly living in it. Thomas and Toby would pass by and give a friendly hello of a whistle and bell as they passed. But a couple days before Christmas, Mrs. Kindly got sick and wasn't feeling well. Thomas and Toby were especially worried about her. I hope she's doing okay. What did the doctors say she had?
I believe it's pneumonia. It's a lung infection that causes the air sacs in the lungs to fill with fluid or pus, which causes breathing difficult and painful.
How do you know that?
My crew tells me these things so I'm prepared for what to do. You never know when a passenger could collapse and you're not too sure what to do.
That's right, Toby. Charlie and Raggy especially keep a first aid kit in me.
That's actually a really good idea. I'll have to ask Sonic about that later. And he did, which I definitely agreed to. We made our way to Farquhar with our train. Along the way, passing the cottage, I noticed something out the window, what looked like a red flag. So I slowed Thomas down.
Whatever is the matter? Why have we stopped?
We must be on our way. We mustn't delay.
Just by coincidence, there was a rock slide right in front of the tunnel. Mrs. Kindly was giving us a warning flag and used a red sweater. The next day, Sir Topham Hatt, Charlie, Vaggie, 18 and I came to see Mrs. Kindly on board a cavalcade of Thomas, Toby, and their coaches. They had given Mrs. Kindly a gift and sent her to Bournemouth, a hospital on the mainland, to treat her pneumonia, which she later got better a week after Christmas. Toby would eventually call the Farquhar branch his new home, and showed a stubborn red engine what appearances could really do. But that's a story for another day. My name is Sonic, and thanks for listening.